Well. The final evolution of the giant gun. I knew it was coming, but I didn't want to believe it. I didn't want to think it existed. After the last time their giant gun accidentally killed a god, I didn't want to believe it. But there it is. An attack moon. I stood at the viewing port of the station orbiting their now fully functioning prototype, a medium-sized moon, its front end with a giant goddamn cannon on the front. I took a deep breath and looked at the engineer who designed it. Well. I guess it was inevitable then. So, what does this one do? Mobile Intelligent Stellar Ignition Unit. MSIU. It can destroy a planet, but we'd rather find failed stars and use it to restart them. He said. This caught me off guard and I looked at him surprised. Wait, it's not a giant death machine. Well, it is, but we'd rather use it for more creative purposes. There's thousands of systems around that have brown dwarfs or failed gas giants that have their own subsystems. By using this to ignite the fusion processes in these failed stars, we can make terraforming these planets and moons a lot easier. He replied with a smile. Oh, thank the gods. I tried to say. It can shatter a planet in half or blow away a gas giant atmosphere, or cause a supernova. And also maybe harvest matter from a neutron star too, but we don't really want to, so it won't. He said. I screamed, slamming my head into the window. He just looked at me in confusion. Yeah, anyway. It uses a miniature wormhole as a power source and the shield's dash. You did what with a wormhole? I yelled out in terror, staring at him. You don't have one. We create a small black hole using a matter collider, then use a special machine we use to turn it into a wormhole. Then we build a ship around it. The wormhole is calibrated just so, we can effectively use it as a supply depot, as well as the ship's power plant. Even so, the planet itself has farms, factories, and everything else. It's fully self-sustaining. He simply said. You are talking to me like the entire galaxy can capture black holes and turn them into giant guns at will. The galaxy isn't as crazy as you are. My translator began to censor a large number of expletives and slurs. The human just looked at me with a smirk as I ranted at him. In between the massive amount of slurs I managed to get in a few statements that actually made sense. I explained, sort of, how humans were insane for their obsession with big things. I explained how massive waveform reality-shattering railguns were an extremely uncommon occurrence. I explained how the galaxy did not have giant moving moon-base cannon ships. I explained, with a large amount of swearing, how humans were so far above the galaxy's level it was honestly disgusting. I finished my rant and stared at him. How do you justify anything you do? This isn't about an obsession with enormous weaponry. What the hell are you doing? What do you mean? We're just doing what we have always done. Longer, farther, faster. That's basically our entire history. He simply said, still smirking. I took a deep breath. Okay. May I please, on behalf of all sentient life in the galaxy, please ask you humans to do one thing for us? Sure. Please don't build a giant gun that will destroy the universe. I yelled out, my voice now becoming strained from my screeching. Oh. He looked at the ground sheepishly and rubbed the back of his neck with a hand. I guess I'll tell the Mars boys to stop building that quantum accelerator railgun then. I yelled and spat more expletives and slurs along with more breathless explanations of why humans are so insane. I gathered my breath after a solid hour of ranting at them all, a crowd of humans gathering around me as I detailed word for word as to why everyone was so irritated at them. I explained how the warrior caste of the Shikandi were so terrified of humans and their gun obsession, that they nearly became Buddhist pacifists. I yelled at them all explaining how the galaxy has repeatedly come to the conclusion the species needs to be censured or sanctioned. Only for us all to do a double take and think it's a bad idea as humans test fire giant gun number 384. Between expletives, curses, prayers to my gods, if humans had not already killed them anyway, we aren't sure, and racial slurs, I was rapidly running out of breath, and developing a migraine. But I soldiered on, and continued to explain why the galaxy was so terrifying and how we were concerned they might do something drastic, or even crazier and end up all exploding or something. At the end of my rant, one human shyly raised a hand in question. Yes. I responded. So, does that mean we need to stop building the star cannon thingy? He asked. Everyone looked at him, shushing him angrily. I took a deep breath. What? Everyone tried to look away, like they knew they were in trouble. Doing that all too human thing when they look at the floor, rubbing the back of the neck. Well. You turned a star into a giant gun? I yelled. Well, not really, We kinda accidentally turned a gas giant into a neutron star and thought. Well. I have an idea and tried to harvest the neutron star for materials and kinda opened up a wormhole. One thing led to another and we kinda built that. Then we thought. I can make it bigger I guess and Well. That doesn't make any sense. I'm not surprised to be honest with you. Fucking creatures have this strange power to distort reality if you have a big enough cannon. But it still doesn't make any sense. What next? Ships shaped like giant guns being used by giant robots. I yelled at them. They all looked at each other in that way and shuffled closer to the blinds, closing them just as I saw the silhouette of a giant ship in the shape of a human gun called the AK-47. No. I slammed my head into the wall again, slinging curses and slurs as I did. I looked up at the ceiling. I prayed to the gods. So. Dear gods, are you guys still laughing? Are you still laughing? I screamed. So. They all looked at me. Does that mean you don't want to test fire it then? I just took a deep breath and cradled my aching head. I held out my hand. Just give me that damn button.